Welcome to, there we are, cool. Hello, welcome to the Fall Table, 15th Circuit Fall Table event. This is a three-part webinar event, and this is the first one, or the first event, programming. This will be dealing with talking about the positives and negatives of programming, give you some ideas, maybe some event ideas, some different advertisement ideas or tactics to use, maybe methods you've never thought about or even heard or even seen. Then if anyone's watching, if there's any questions that are needed or want to be asked, you can feel free to, I think you can add or type in a question. If not, sorry, this is the first time we've done anything like this, so hopefully it'll all work out. Let me do a quick introduction. I have Fabian Vega. He is the Lieutenant Governor, our executive, Lieutenant Governor, and he's actually the executive. My executive, and I also have Lisa Martinez, who's also a lieutenant governor, or she's a lieutenant governor of programming, and I have Jennifer Hoji, who is the actual, she's the actual program, the test operation from, she's the National ABA Programming Associate for law students, so she's actually on the National ABA and basically helps and programming for law students. She'll explain a little bit more what she does when the camera's on her. But basically, how this works is I sent out a few questions to everybody with a couple objectives, and we'll probably follow the questions a little bit, and they'll explain a little bit more of what they do and what their experiences have been with running events, if they have any experience running events, and we'll kind of just go from there. So. Let's start with then you first, Jennifer, and get the ball rolling. Can you explain a little bit more of what you do and maybe talk a little bit more of some positive and negatives from events that you've hosted in the past? If there's anything that you would recommend or any advice you give or any things that you might let others know just to avoid it altogether, because it really just, if you can, thank you.
So I am the program associate for the law student division. I specifically work on our governance board meetings, our competitions, and annual meeting. In the past, we've done some meetings that I've been part of and helped law students with circuit meetings that happen either in the fall, or there's a combination of circuits and spring circuit meetings, so I've kind of had a little bit of experience in assisting some individuals in getting those working, so I can definitely speak to what has worked and what hasn't. For those meetings, we it's free registration. So, for example, I could tell you, and there was one circuit meeting that had a registration of over 120 people. Again, it was free. There wasn't a buy-in for someone to technically show up, and when we had the meeting and ordered all this food expecting that kind of attendance, we only had 30 people show up. So again, you want to really think about when you're planning the event, what's happening. Is there a buy-in that people are going to come and show up to the event? So all that work and time that you put into it, that there's something out of it, that you're making sure that you're reaching the farthest audience that you can, the biggest audience that you can. So I can definitely speak to some of the things I think that worked and didn't work with that. I think really looking at more online events, and also maybe even pulling your students, surveying them, talking to them, get people on the ground to find out when the best time is to host an event. Is it maybe during the week after classes or during a lunch break or something like that, to make sure that people kind of don't have that excuse of, oh, I'm home now, I'm going to watch the football game instead of go to this thing that I said I would go to. I think that is a huge thing to think about. Even if you do have amazing speakers, sometimes you want to make sure that people really realize who those people are, what they're going to speak about, to really get that buy-in so people do show up. So that was definitely something that it's also disappointing when you put all that time in and you want to make sure that students are really engaged and excited, and that it's something worth your while to do. I don't know if you had any other more specific questions about those circuit meetings or kind of on-site meetings that you wanted me to answer.
Everything so far has been excellent. It actually is very unfortunate to plan for that many people and then have such a terrible turnout. I mean, from what you said, were mentioning and talking, I mean, I guarantee the advertisement must have been awesome. I mean, you must have done a fantastic job to induce and entice the students, and not have the show out is a little unfortunate. But I mean, what type of specifically maybe advertisements work? Example, emails, flyers, social media. Um, and then how do you show the members the necessity, or I mean, how necessary it is to show up to these events while you're a law student? I mean, such as networking, for the interning, for bar prep, post-graduation jobs. I mean, these are events that individuals are taking their time, and like us, for example, here today, to inform individuals and to make at least everyone a little bit more educated on what to do, and how do you entice and induce these students to attend? I mean, is there any advertisement that you know has worked in the past, and how do you go about showing them these how necessary it is?
Sure. I mean, that example I gave in that meeting, that circuit governor did an amazing job of making sure, weekly emails were going out. But I think the problem with emails recently is, and I'm sure all ABA members, law students know, is how many emails you get. And I think they either don't pay attention, or they opt out. So again, if you're going to use email, that just needs to be part of your marketing plan, and you need to make sure that you're using some catchy headings so people actually open up your email. I mean, that's one thing we can actually look at the ABA. Not so good. So make sure that you're really trying to, make it enticing. And I think not only just using email, but again, are you able to talk to your fellow students to kind of get the ground running, talk to other clubs, talk to your career services or career, affairs department, and creating enticing flyers. Can you send out postcards if that's something in your budget? I mean, really try a bunch of different avenues. And yes, absolutely, social media is something, it's free. And again, you can touch a lot of people and talk to them, and using Twitter or whatever, point out, hey, this speaker, that, try different avenues of one person might get really enticed by one thing that you talk about, if it's sandwiches versus that specific speaker or networking. And I think, again, the big hot topics are some like careers, interviewing, jobs. I mean, try to keep it really focused on something that's really going to, really affecting someone. Or if there's some like really interesting current event or something that's going on, a court case that, people are really interested in, maybe you, talk about that. So make sure that it's relevant to your audience so you can get an audience.
I agree 100%. I mean, that's actually some really good advice there. You brought up an interesting point, and maybe we'll go into a little bit later, but I did want to also ask Lisa a few questions too, maybe, and get you involved in the conversation a little bit over there. I know, I mean, maybe you can explain a little bit of what you do, and then maybe also talk about, since we're already on this topic of advertisements or positive or negatives from events that you've maybe been a part of or hosted in the past, or even been to, as a law student yourself. Is there anything that really got you motivated or really intrigued you to attend? And then, but also introduce yourself and explain a little more what you do and everything too, okay?
Okay, well, my name is Lisa Martinez. I'm a 2L at Arizona Summit Law, and I got appointed as Lieutenant Governor of Programming. And I've got a lot of background and experience with coordinating events and basically reaching out to different types of professionals, both in my personal life as well as law school. So I kind of came into law school with a little bit of that experience already, but from what I've seen so far, the events that I've been to that get the most attention seem to be criminal law related, and I think that that's sort of expected because a lot of people that come into law school have that I want to be, either prosecution or I want to be criminal defense. So I think a large chunk of our population, at least from my experience, people say that they want to go into criminal law. So those things bring in, you know, when you have prosecutors come in, or you have people talking about famous cases, like the Jodi Arias case or something like that. Like those events are the ones that draw in the most people. And so I would like to find a way to bridge the gap to get other, you know, industries involved, like entertainment law and family law, and because even though maybe we don't have such a big populace that's interested now, I think part of the problem is because we're not exposed to those other industries, you know? So it's like everything in media, everything in even cinema and TV, people go into law school with this idea like, oh, I want to get into criminal law. And it's like, but we're not seeing all of those other areas that we could possibly be attracted to. So if we could find a way to bring in people to those other events, and so maybe if we could talk about, like, has anybody seen something that really, really worked for other specified industries? Because if so, I'd like to make that happen.
I actually brought up some pretty good points too, and when you're mentioning about obviously something that's going to be a little bit more interesting to individuals only because they see it all the time. It's something that's constantly being viewed. And when you're talking about the criminal law part, I agree 100% that a lot of people do come into law school with this idea that you know, it's going to be just like they see in the TV and everything like that. Maybe we can through similar avenues and I guess treat others or students into other different departments of law and other branches. Like, for example, the spring event that we're hosting here is going to be pertaining strictly to mental health. And we're going to be talking about therapeutic care of students. And so hopefully we can go out and find out some ideas and try to induce and entice students to learn more about mental health and understand that there are different ways to rehabilitate people or individuals. You know, you don't always have to put someone in or send someone to jail or prison. You can actually maybe help them by giving them different methods or their mental disorders. You know, I mean, that's actually really interesting. And I want to kind of tie two things together there. You both made mention to speakers, and Jennifer made mention that it doesn't even matter if you have the most amazing speaker there. If you don't advertise right, or do the other little things right, students are still not going to come. We have our I could make note. You have to actually mute your camera. You can get on the top up there. It says, there you go. Yeah. Only because it picks up like every like little noise and it like brings the camera back and forth. I want to make sure that whoever's talking, the camera stays in that person. But I wanted to ask, or I wanted to see, how do we approach these speakers? Does anyone know how to? I mean, yeah, if you get these amazing speakers there, or if you can find the right topic to bring them in, how do we approach the speakers and let them know that this is also going to be important to them, for the students, and also for their need and their cause? I mean, it's easier if it's for an individual who's a huge advocate for like the UBE or for something like that to get them to come out and speak. But if it's someone who really doesn't do those, I guess doesn't really do presentations or anything, how would you go about asking them? I mean, do you have any methods or any ways that you know how to approach speakers or individuals to get them to participate in the events? I mean, I guess it's like an open question, so if you want to add a little bit, Jennifer, you can, if you have any ideas or any advice.
Absolutely. I can speak to our liaison program that we have. We have liaisons to 50 plus, I think almost 60 now, different section divisions and forums throughout the ABA. And that is directly, you can find their names and their titles on our ABA or Law Student Division webpage under leadership, and there's a whole big listing of them. So say you did want to do a program on entertainment law, there's a specific liaison that goes to those meetings, that's part of their conference calls, that has to write reports, that gets really involved with those members that are obviously very passionate about that part of their career. And on our liaison webpage, there you can actually click right on there and get their email address to contact information. So you could say, hey, I'm really interested in doing this program at my school. I want to talk about this. Do you have any great contacts that are in this area that would be interested, or great people that would be willing to speak? And it could even be in again, something like this, and like a hangout or a webinar or something, or it could be, on site. And I think they are the most, amazing contacts where you're actually going to be able to talk to a peer, one of your law students, where you can kind of be more like, how can you, what kind of connections do you have, versus maybe it might be a little bit scary for some people to just branch out and try to email someone that they've read about, or, just have a connection through something like that. But if you do have, want to do that, I think just make sure that you're super clear with your speaker, that you want what you want them to talk about, what you want the audience to get out of it. Again, make sure you have plenty of notice that you're giving them, that it's not, 2 days from now. And I think they very much appreciate that. And again, like if you do have, say you had found like a law firm to sponsor it or something, they might be able to help with, reimbursement if the speaker needs to travel or something like that. So really make sure your planning is set and, what you can offer them, and just be very clear. And I think that can, you have a lot of different avenues on how you can get people that are very specific to a certain topic, and get kind of passionate people that really know that topic that you want them to speak about.
That's actually some really good advice. And you said that all that could be contacted or can be found on the website, just a normal ABA website page, right?
Correct. Right at the Law Student Division page, if you go click on the Law Student Division page, and then under Leadership, one of the links that you can then click on is Liaisons to all the sections, divisions, and forums, and you'll see a huge list.
That's actually great. I mean, if anyone out there is listening, if you're part of an e-board, or if you're a part of your SBA or club president, or in a club, or interested in creating a club, I mean, these are all great venues and avenues to use. The ABA website is very resourceful, and actually has a lot of great contacts on there too. For example, I mean, Jennifer Poggi is one of them, and you'll see her name all over the website, and as she does a lot for the ABA. You did make a mention to slightly, and I kind of guess I really want to just bring it up now, since it's on the tip of my head. Getting like the loans, or getting any type of reimbursement or anything from the ABA. I mean, are there any is there anything out there right now that people that are in events, or people that are on e-boards or in clubs can use or take advantage of for any events that they want to host in the future?
Yes, we do have something called the grant program, which is on our website under initiatives and awards, and then grant program. It has all the rules and everything about how that works, but it needs to be a first-time program that you want to set up at your law school, and it needs to emphasize diversity, ethics, professional training, mental health, public interest, something like that. So what you're going to do is actually fill out this form that is going to have you talk about the event that you want to start. You have to have your budget kind of set when you're filling this form out. Like, I know I want to, I expect 250 people to come. I want to buy lunch. It's going to cost this much. Things like that. So when you're filling that out, and then you can actually get a max of $1,000 to help you with your event. So I mean, ideally, maybe your school can help you, your SBA, so you then can make even a bigger event by kind of compiling some of these different resources. And the whole point is, ideally, people see success in this great event, and then your school will support you in the years to come to continue to have it. Some examples of things that schools have done are, help support certain events at a diversity week. If they've had speakers come and talk about mental health, and done some things. But I mean, a lot of it, of course, involves food. So just to, kind of make it more of an event and a luncheon or something like that. But again, it has to have some great substance. It does need to go through an approval process with our secretary treasurer and some members on our Board of Governors team. So it's not automatic, obviously. It has to go through an approval process. But the other big thing to think about is you have to make sure you turn this information in at least 4 weeks before you want to have that specific event. So please keep that in mind. And after you go through the whole approval process, hear from our secretary treasurer, you would just need to make sure you keep all your receipts, and you have to actually do a report about what happened and send us all that information, and then you would then get reimbursed by the ABA and get a check in the mail. So it's a pretty simple process, and again, there's a lot more details online. You can always email me at the ABA if you have any questions, or talk to John Loros, our secretary. He can answer any questions for you as well.
It's actually a fantastic grant that they're doing, and you actually mentioned mental health. I mean, for example, would the spring thing that we're doing here for the 15th Circuit, would that fall underneath? Because I don't think we've ever done anything with mental health. I mean, those are the type of things that they're looking for, is things that haven't really ever been done for your school or for your circuit, and you're kind of branching out there and being the entrepreneur and taking those risks to try and get something going and start something new at your school. I mean, it's actually really very interesting. And so for anyone that is watching or listens and wants to take advantage of this, you can always contact myself or Jennifer. And like that was mentioned, it's on the website. Everything will be on the ABA website, and which is now, I think, is it almost done being reconstructed? I know that they're in the process of.
Yeah, sorry. It's right now the time frame is about mid-November that it's going to go live, where everything will be redirected. So not the big ABA website is changing. We are special in the law student division. We're the first group that are able to kind of branch out and do our own amazing thing. So anytime you would then click on anything law student division related, it would go to our better and more exciting site. So more to come.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So yes, and thank you for that too. I mean, that's another thing coming up. So be aware that mid-November, the end of the year, or at the end of November, there should be a new up and running website for the law student division, and hopefully it'll contain a lot of cool, more interesting, more intriguing ways to entice and induce students, and also easier ways so they can get their resources and their information they need without having to go through this struggle of doing a really deep search. But let me actually introduce Fabian, who's been sitting over here very patiently and quietly, just watching. If you want, you can say a little bit about yourself and what you do, and if you have any information or advice or any input on any of the questions that we've covered. I mean, I've probably taken some notes over there, sitting over there. So, I mean, if you got anything, feel free to add to the conversation.
So my name is Fabian Vega. I am the Executive Lieutenant Governor of the 15th Circuit. A lot of the topics that have been covered today have been spectacular. So for anybody listening, you guys are getting really good information. One of the biggest things, I know it's one of the questions we have written down, is how to show members, or how to induce other law students to come out to these events, especially these networking events. And me personally, as a law student, I find that going to these events is very beneficial. You know, shaking hands, always presenting yourself in a professional manner, regardless of where you are. But especially at these networking events, and I know this from experience, it really opens the opportunity to, you know, build that communication where you may meet, you know, for example, I know we're mentioning the criminal law. You may meet a prosecutor who knows somebody who may need an intern or an extern, and they remember your face. You shake their hand, exchange emails or phone numbers, or you give them if you have any business cards, you give them a business card, or take their business card, and you know, it really opens the opportunity for you to it opens the door for you to you know, potentially secure an internship or an externship, or even a letter of recommendation, or they may say, hey, you know what, we have this pro bono work, you can come get some experience here if you'd like. That's to me that's one of the biggest things, especially, you know, selling that, you know, trying to sell that a little bit, you know, come have the potential to meet this person, or come have the potential to secure this kind of communication, or this kind of you know, this kind of relationship with with an influential person. So that's really my biggest thing. It's just, you know, networking among everything, because as we all know in this profession, you know, sometimes it is who you know, and sometimes it's, you know, just getting your face out there and people recognizing who you are, knowing what kind of person you are. And a lot of times if you're just, you know, a friendly person, or, you know, you're just out there and you're just a smile, they'll remember that, and they will very easily remember you when you're like, oh, you know what, this guy, I remember him, he was very nice, very well spoken, and he definitely I would love to have him work with me, or work with him, or I know somebody who would love to work with him, or he'd be a perfect fit in their firm. But that's really all I have when it comes to you know, really inducing people to come out to your events for the networking.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and the compliments too. I mean, everything that Jennifer and Lisa have said so far today has been absolutely amazing, and just what we need too. I want to try to wrap this up kind of soon. I really wanted to give the opportunity for anyone to bring up any upcoming events that you know of, or maybe that you're going to be a part of, or even personally hosting, and give you an opportunity to have this platform to inform the 15th Circuit or the nation, whoever could be viewing and watching this at this time, and let them know of some up-and-coming events that you might be hosting or being a part of, and what you did, maybe a little bit about it, and what you expect the outcome to be. Now, I guess we'll go with Lisa first over here.
Let's see. The first thing that we have on our agenda for Outlaw, because I'm also the upcoming president for Outlaw, which is the LGBTQ group at Arizona Summit. We've got a community outreach event that's coming up on Friday the 30th. Basically, we're volunteering for 1 in 10, which is a youth organization for LGBTQ youth who are either currently displaced or facing other struggles because of their diversity. And we're going to go out and reach out to them. It's our first event with them directly, and I just wanted to find a youth program in the area that we could connect with and possibly build some further rapport with. So I hope that after the festival volunteering on the 30th, that we can have other opportunities to maybe meet their organization's attorneys, or find out who they work with as far as lobbying and legislation change, get into that realm, and maybe do some sort of youth mentoring, do some law school tours, because a lot of the kids don't have anyone to show them the ropes with professional life, or kind of what'll happen after high school, that type of thing. So not only community outreach, but also trying to kind of go behind the scenes and find out who is involved with their legal progress, and make some of those relationships there. And then we also have a mixer that's coming up in November with Outlaw as well, and we typically invite local attorneys, judges. We've had a justice come out and meet with us at one of our mixers. We've had the lead prosecutor for Pima County come out and meet with us in our past mixers. So we just try to bring influential leaders to these events. That way we can build the relationships, and they have been beneficial for us because we've been able to ask them to do follow-up, maybe luncheons, and they'll come out and speak to our students during lunchtime. So those are a couple of things that we're doing now that I can speak about that have been successful.
Thank you for that. That's actually, it was all sounding really interesting, and I hope that the turnout that you guys are looking for, and I can actually attend some of these if I'm not doing anything most of on these dates. Jennifer, I mean, if you have anything for the ABA, you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can speak to our next big meeting that's going to involve all kind of sections and divisions of the ABA is our mid-year meeting, which is in February. It's the 3rd through the 9th, and it takes place in San Diego, which is hopefully a great opportunity for the 15th Circuit because it is drivable. But it is going to be specifically to law students. There's just a negotiation competition and some more private board meetings. But if you are a law student, it's a great opportunity to go to a lot of section, division, and forum meetings to really network. There's going to be, of course, big kind of mixers and things like that people can go to in different, the House of Delegates is meeting and things like that. So it's a great place to, even just hang out in the lobby of the hotel and make some great connections. So I definitely suggest that. And then also just to keep in mind, our annual meeting is in August. It's the 4th through the 9th. It's about the time frame, I believe. And that's going to be in San Francisco this year. So please put those on your calendar. Especially it's our big meeting, so you want to make sure you register for that as early as possible. It usually opens around April or May. So keep those in mind. And again, just look at our big ABA calendar on the website, which is on, when you go to the main page, you can go on the top right and click on that, and you'll be able to look up all the different section, division, and forum meetings, so you know if there's something near you. If you're interested, again, in criminal law, entertainment law, whatever, you can kind of see when those meetings are. And a lot of the times, if you contact them, or it will even be listed on their web pages, they could have special pricing for law students, or if you volunteer for a few hours to work like the registration desk, you might be able to get go in for free or for a very reduced rate. So make sure you look at all your options. And again, contact any staff members from those entities. They're really great about reaching out to law students and letting you know if there are any deals or other things that you can do to kind of alleviate some of those costs.
It's actually perfect that you mentioned the calendar again too, and I agree 100% about the actual annual in August. Want to get the ball rolling on that kind of early and get all your planning and everything done too. And if you do it right, and you become a representative for your school, for example, each member up here. I don't know if you ever served as an actual member. Were you ever lieutenant governor or governor? Jennifer, did you serve? No, okay. But I mean, Lisa and Fabian, they're both lieutenant governors. I've been a lieutenant governor twice, and being a governor representing for your school, not only are you advocating for your school and promoting a good image for your school, but you're also really giving yourself a fantastic opportunity to meet a whole bunch of amazing individuals from all over the nation, and they're all doing what they love, and they're all doing it because this is where they want to do, and they're doing it as well as anyone to be at this position. I mean, you meet some really fantastic people. I also wanted to mention a little bit more about the calendar. I was just looking at it myself, and actually it breaks down really nice. It's got a little cool key search on the left side where you can break it down and even search state by state. I quickly put together just the states that were that they had actual events in, and those ones were Utah, Arizona, and Colorado, and already, I mean, just in the beginning of the year in January to February, there's going to be 3 or 4 events, and 2 of them will be in Arizona. So if you want to get on there and take a look, a lot of these are CLEs, and CLEs are free for law students, and you go and you can meet a lot of fantastic individuals and learn a little bit more about the always changing and constantly changing and always developing law, and see where it stands. I would also like to make mention, since we are the 15th Circuit and very close to the West Coast, this February, I think it's February 3rd to the 9th, to be exact, is the mid-year, and I don't know much about the mid-year. Maybe Jennifer, you can explain a little bit more if you can, but I do know that it will be in San Diego, and San Diego is not too far away for most of our states, and it really wouldn't cost much for a plane ticket either. So I mean, if you do have that weekend available, I know that I will be down there, and a little staff of my lieutenant governor should be down there with us. So we should be having a pretty good representation of the 15th Circuit, and if you would love to join, you reach out, let me know. I'll definitely make sure that we get in contact in San Diego, and it's a great opportunity to, as Jennifer will explain, to really reach out to the other organizations that are the other divisions that are part of the ABA, as there won't be much to do with the LSD, the Law Student Division there. There will be a couple meetings, but other than that, this would be a great opportunity to meet with all the other committees and maybe see something that really intrigues you and find someone or meet someone that really is going to have a benefit in the rest of your life. So you can explain just a little bit about the mid-year, Jennifer, that'd be great, and then from there we might be able to say goodbye and thank you guys very much for everything.
Sure. The mid-year meeting is, again, taking place in San Diego, and really it is more about different sections and divisions and forums having different meetings. We don't have a schedule yet from our meetings and travel department. Right now, all the entities are actually giving them their information of when their events are going to happen. So right now that is still in the works, but you can go to the main mid-year page on the website and actually register. Like you said, it's free, and you can see at least where the different entities are headquartered in certain hotels. So, for example, like the Law Student Division is in the Hilton, I think, Bayfront Hotel. It's right on the water. It's very pretty. So that would be very exciting. But again, really there aren't any general law student so you would know if you're invited to go to that, and then our board meetings. But the great thing about being in those hotels and being there is that, again, you are going to be able to really network with a lot of different individuals, the House of Delegates, so all those. So again, more of that information will be posted on the website as soon as all the scheduling is final. That will come in the next couple months. Keep your eyes open for that and check on that. And again, if you are interested in kind of seeing what is happening in a different entity that you're really excited about, usually on their individual pages, they'll start listing things of what they're going to do at mid-year. So check those out, or even again use say, hey, I'm really interested in this. What are you guys doing? What could I go to? And some great mix. That's usually a little bit more popular events at our annual meeting, for example, where lawyers are, getting together and, we cook cocktails and other hors d'oeuvres or things like that, and for different entities that, people can really kind of mix and mingle and make some great networking, connections there.
I agree 100%, and that actually brought up interesting, and it reminded me of something. This past annual in Chicago, me and our fellow ABA representative from our circuit, we reached out and we went to a little wine and cheese event, something I really don't do. I don't know much about wines or I do like cheese, but it was actually really interesting. So it was a wild D, and we got to meet a whole bunch of individuals that just graduated and just passed the bar, and we got to talk to them and see what they've been doing and the steps that they took right after law school, and what their success stories are now, and it was actually really interesting. And you were cutting out a little bit there, but I'm pretty sure you're just saying at the end there, you can reach out to these individuals and these individual entities and divisions through the ABA website also, and through there you can find contact information and hopefully event listings and stuff on their personal pages that will further you and help you understand and help you know, or to inform you about upcoming events and give you contact information. You can always reach out and find someone. And to be honest, for example, the Arizona State Bar here for character and fitness, I had a couple questions that were going around and people were wondering things, and I wanted to reach out and ask the individual, and sent him an email, and his name is Scott Novak, and in a matter of minutes I had emails back. So some of these individuals are really right there waiting to answer any question that you have, and so I mean, go out there and reach out and sometimes take a risk. It's a little hard to reach out, like we were talking earlier about trying to get speakers. It's a little hard to go out of your way and take that risk of just reaching out to someone you don't know, but the rewards are worth it, and that's why I'm glad I did take the risk and ask individuals like Jennifer Poggi here and Lisa and David to come out, and you guys did absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate everything. But we're gonna end this now. We're gonna wrap this up. If you guys would like to say goodbye, you can. I don't know how this works, so I think I'm just gonna say a goodbye for all of us then, and say thank you once again, and we'll be in contact with all of you actually in the near future. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and so everyone does know, this will be on YouTube, and these will be viewed later throughout the year. So this will be a video that hopefully will further and help students this entire semester and next semester. So thank you guys very much for coming, and I will be reaching out and contacting you guys later to discuss more, and also to thank you again. So I appreciate everything. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend and fall break. I hope midterms are going excellent, and have an excellent rest of your semester.